Now, one of the things we're also doing tonight is obviously we are going to be covering Golovkin's defence against Fuchigama. Now, there's been a fight that's been on and off and looked like it was definitely going to be called off. Looks like it's thankfully back on. I think it's June 16th in El Paso, Texas, and it's the WBC middleweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. against Limericks or Ireland's Andy Lee. And I think I'm right in saying that I've got Andy Lee, old friend of mine, on the end of the line now. Andy, are you there?
I'm here, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Andy, that fight's definitely going to happen now. Is it between you and Chavez? Because there's been a bit of dispute and debate, hasn't there?
It's been back and forth, and there was some problem with the venue being so close to the border, Mexican border in El Paso. There was some security issues and that, but I think it's all resolved now, and the fight's definitely going ahead. So I've been gearing up for it for the last couple of months, and in full training, so almost here now.
So it's June 16th, and you never stopped training, even though there was that sort of 10-day period where no one knew what was going on. You carried on, you ploughed on with your training.
Yeah, I carried on training. I always thought that it was going to happen. If not in El Paso, then somewhere else. So I didn't, whether the fight was kind of irrelevant anyway. So I've just been training as if the fight was going on all the time.
Andy, when people look at Chavez Jr., they tend to just dismiss him. But when you actually look a little bit closer at his record, what is it, about 48 fights now, and he's been a pro a long time, and they haven't all been mismatches. He hasn't had it all his own way. I don't know about you, but I tend to think he's a better fighter than people give him credit for, Andy. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I think so. Especially the last couple of years. Early on in his career, he was much, very soft and. Things were always in his favour. But since he fought John Billy, I think that was 2009, 2010, he's really stepped up and been fighting better opposition, steadily better opposition, and he's improving in every fight. So he's a handful. He's a big middleweight, and he's very aggressive, and he'll be a handful for anybody. But I know what I have to do, and I know what I have to do to beat him. So just getting ready to work for it, No,
he is a handful and he is a big middleweight, but so are you, in all fairness. And the one thing that slightly alarms me is that there is a serious suggestion that he will fight Martinez in September. I'm not quite sure if there's a date and a venue, but according to various reports from the WBC, that fight is made. Does it alarm you slightly that he's looking past you to a sort of so-called unification fight?
In some ways, I hope he is, and because I'll let him. The thing was, when this fight was made, to be allowed. We all had to sign an agreement with the WBC. I think there was some hesitation on Top Rank and Chavez's side, as in the signing it. But Martinez signed to it, and I signed to it, that the winner of the fight between me and Chavez would fight Martinez in September, and. I signed it straight away, and I think there was some hesitation with him signing it. So since I think he signed it the last few days to allow this fight to go ahead, and I think that's where there's been some reports in the last couple of days that fight signed. But we're standing on me and him, the outcome of our fight. So let him look past me. I think it's a good thing if he is looking past me, because he'll come up for a surprise,
Yeah, now that you've explained that, then perhaps it's just the WBC jumping the gun slightly and saying that fight's going to happen, assuming Chavez is going to beat you. Andy, I've been talking tonight, and we've had the graphic up of all of the various middleweight champions between interims and supers and diamonds. And it occurs to me, Andy, that of all the divisions that we have, whether you think it's 14, 16 or 14 or 12, it looks like the middleweights could really do with one or two champions who are recognised. Is that how you see it, Andy? There's just so many different middleweight champions.
The thing is, none of the champions are fighting each other.
That's the problem.
Yeah, like the WBA had 3 champions at one stage. I think there's 2 now.
There's 2, yeah.
And Golovkin. At one time they had that Cameroon fighter from France.
He's now the WBO interim champion. I didn't know that till tonight.
I know, yeah. It's like musical chairs they're playing. But, there needs to, the boxing, across the board, there needs to be maybe 1 champion, 1 or 2 champions. 3 at the most, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Just to make the proper fights, because it's getting ridiculous with Diamond Elite champions and champions of recess and all, champion emeritus. It's becoming a joke,
It has. Andy, and finally, and thanks for your time tonight. And obviously, good luck on June 16th. We'll be rooting for you here at Box Nation. You know that. Finally, how do you rate Gennady Golovkin?
I think he's a very, very good fighter. He might be up there, one of the best middleweights in the division. It doesn't, because he's from Kazakhstan and not very well known in America or anywhere. It doesn't get a lot of recognition. But I fought him as an amateur, and I know how good he is. I've watched his whole career since the Olympics, and very, very good fighter. And I've talked to a lot of guys who sparred with him since he's turned pro, and they all have a lot of respect for him. So yeah, I respect him a lot. Him and Pirog, I respect a lot in the middleweight division.
Yeah, listen, I couldn't agree more, and I think they're the two that get overlooked far too often. Andy Lee, thank you very much indeed. Say hello to Manny for us, and we'll speak to you soon. Andy Lee, thank you.
Will do. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy Lee. No hallelujah? He's a great fighter. I can't believe it. So, there we go. That's it. A bit late, but in fact, Tim, you didn't even get hallelujah. Your daughter did. You didn't. Steve.